Look at two people who are both 90 years old. One struggles to rise from a chair, avoids stairs, and depends on others for simple daily tasks. The other walks to the market, prepares food, tends a small garden, meets friends, and moves through the day with surprising energy. They have reached the same age, but their bodies seem to be living in completely different decades. What created this difference? It is tempting to believe that the active person was simply born with better genes. But genetics alone cannot explain everything. The deeper answer is often hidden inside ordinary actions repeated for many years. In many Japanese communities, especially among older adults, movement is not treated as a separate workout that begins and ends at the gym. It is built into daily life. Their homes, meals, routines, social habits, and way of thinking continuously encourage the body to remain useful. They do not necessarily chase extreme fitness. They protect something more important, the ability to keep moving. And that is the curiosity most people miss. The secret is not one difficult exercise. It is a collection of small habits that quietly train balance, strength, mobility, circulation, and independence every day. Today, you will discover 5 of those habits. None of them requires an expensive gym membership. But when practiced consistently, they can help slow physical decline, preserve everyday strength, and make the body feel younger than its age. Let us begin with the habit that appears almost too simple to matter, yet may be one of the strongest reasons many Japanese seniors remain mobile. Habit 1. They turn ordinary life into continuous movement. Many people imagine that staying physically active requires a scheduled workout. They believe movement counts only when they wear sports clothes, enter a gym, follow a fitness video, or exercise intensely enough to sweat. Because of this belief, someone may spend 40 minutes exercising and then remain seated for the next 10 hours. They drive to work, sit at a desk, use an elevator, order food, watch television, and avoid unnecessary movement. Technically, they exercised, but their body spent most of the day inactive. The traditional Japanese approach is often different. Instead of depending only on one exercise session, many people build movement into ordinary life. They walk to local shops, use public transportation, climb stairs, clean their homes, prepare meals, carry groceries, tend plants, and move between different sitting and standing positions. None of these actions looks impressive by itself, but the body does not judge movement by how dramatic it appears. It responds to how frequently the muscles, joints, heart, and lungs are used. Every time you stand up, your legs must produce force. Every time you walk, your hips and knees move through repeated cycles. Every time you carry a bag, your hands, arms, shoulders, back, and core must coordinate. Every time you reach, bend, sweep, or climb, your nervous system practices controlling the body. These small movements accumulate. Imagine 2 people with similar health. The first person walks for 30 minutes in the morning, but sits for almost the entire remaining day. The second person takes several short walks, stands while preparing food, performs household tasks, uses stairs, and frequently changes position. The second person may never call it exercise, yet their body receives dozens of small movement signals from morning until evening. This matters because the human body adapts to what it repeatedly experiences. When you repeatedly ask your legs to support you, they receive a reason to maintain strength. When you regularly move your joints, you give them a reason to preserve useful range. When you challenge your balance in safe, ordinary ways, your brain continues practicing the skill of keeping you stable. But when you remove movement from daily life, the body begins adapting to inactivity. Chairs become higher because standing feels difficult. Objects are placed within easy reach so bending is unnecessary. Elevators replace stairs. Deliveries replace walking. Machines replace physical effort. Slowly, life becomes more convenient, while the body becomes less capable. Convenience is helpful, but too much convenience can remove the very challenges that keep us independent. You do not need to reject modern life. You simply need to stop allowing every physical task to disappear. Begin by creating what can be called movement opportunities. Walk while speaking on the phone. Stand up during television breaks. Carry one manageable shopping bag instead of immediately using a cart for everything. Take the stairs for 1 or 2 floors when it is safe. Park slightly farther from the entrance. Water plants by hand. Fold clothes while standing. Sweep a small area instead of always relying on automatic devices. These actions may seem small, but their purpose is not to burn a dramatic number of calories. Their purpose is to remind the body, again and again, that it is still needed. A powerful approach is to avoid remaining in one position for too long. Every 30 to 60 minutes, stand up and move for 2 or 3 minutes. Walk around the room, raise your arms, roll your shoulders, move your ankles, sit down and stand up several times from a stable chair. The goal is not exhaustion. The goal is interruption. You are interrupting long periods of physical silence before the body begins treating inactivity as its new normal. Japanese longevity is often discussed as though it comes from mysterious foods or ancient secrets. But one part of the answer may be far more practical. Many older adults continue doing things for themselves. They walk, carry, clean, prepare, reach, bend, and participate. They do not preserve movement by waiting until weakness arrives. They preserve it by using it while they still have it. The first lesson is simple. Do not concentrate all your movement into one short period. Spread it throughout your entire day. Your body does not need constant intensity. It needs constant reminders. Habit 2. They practice getting down and rising again. One of the clearest signs of physical independence is not how fast someone can run. It is whether they can safely lower themselves and rise again. In many traditional Japanese homes, people may sit on floor cushions, sleep closer to the floor, kneel during certain activities, or move between low and standing positions more often than people who spend their entire day in high chairs. Modern Japanese life has changed, and not everyone follows these customs. Still, the principle behind low-level movement remains powerful. Getting closer to the floor requires mobility in the ankles, knees, hips, and spine. Rising again requires strength in the legs, coordination through the core, and confidence in balance. When these movements are practiced regularly, they remain familiar. But when someone avoids the floor for years, getting down may begin to feel dangerous. The hips become stiffer, the knees lose tolerance, the ankles become less mobile, the legs become weaker. Eventually, the person stops practicing the very movement they are afraid of losing. This creates a cycle. The less you get down, the harder it becomes. The harder it becomes, the more you avoid it. The more you avoid it, the faster the ability disappears. This does not mean every older adult should immediately begin sitting on the floor. Anyone with joint problems, dizziness, balance issues, recent surgery, or other medical concerns should use caution and seek professional guidance. But the underlying skill can be trained safely at different levels. Start with the chair rise. Choose a stable chair that does not roll or slide. Sit toward the front with your feet firmly placed on the floor. Lean slightly forward, press through your feet, and stand up under control. Then slowly sit back down without dropping into the chair. This is one of the most practical strength exercises in the world because it trains a movement you need every day. At first, you may use your hands on the armrests. Later, as your legs become stronger, you can reduce how much assistance your hands provide. Pay attention to the lowering phase. Many people focus only on standing, but lowering yourself slowly is equally valuable. It teaches the muscles to control your body weight instead of allowing gravity to pull you down. Perform a few careful repetitions at different times during the day. You do not need to complete a long workout. 3 controlled repetitions after breakfast, 3 after lunch, and 3 in the evening already give your legs repeated practice. As your confidence improves, you may explore slightly lower surfaces under safe conditions. You can also practice half kneeling while holding a stable support, or gently move from standing to a supported kneeling position. The purpose is not to force the body into traditional postures. The purpose is to preserve your relationship with different levels of space. A body that only knows one position becomes fragile outside that position. When the body regularly experiences standing, sitting, reaching low, stepping up, turning, and carefully kneeling, it maintains a broader vocabulary of movement. Think of movement like language. A person who uses only 10 words every day may eventually struggle to express complex ideas. In the same way, a body that performs only a few limited motions may lose the ability to handle unexpected physical situations. This becomes especially important during a fall. No habit can completely prevent accidents, but better leg strength, joint mobility, and familiarity with lower positions may improve the body's ability to react, stabilize, and recover. The deeper lesson is that independence lives in transitions. Standing from bed, rising from the toilet, getting out of a car, stepping over an obstacle, lowering to pick something up, recovering after losing balance. These moments are not glamorous, but they determine whether a person can continue living freely. One reason some Japanese seniors appear younger than their age is that they continue practicing functional transitions through ordinary life. They do not train only isolated muscles. They repeatedly train the body to move from one position into another. You can apply this principle today. Do not always choose the softest or highest seat. Do not collapse into a chair. Do not use your hands automatically when your legs can safely do some of the work. Do not avoid every low object or low surface. Move slowly, safely, and deliberately. Your goal is not to prove how young you are. Your goal is to maintain the movements that allow you to stay independent. Habit 3. They walk with purpose, not just for exercise. Walking is often treated as the simplest form of exercise, and because it is simple, people underestimate it. But walking is not merely a way to burn calories. It is a complete coordination task involving the feet, ankles, calves, knees, hips, core, arms, eyes, inner ear, brain, heart, and lungs. With every step, the body shifts its weight onto one leg. For a brief moment, you balance while the other leg moves forward. Your arms swing to control rotation. Your eyes scan the environment. Your brain adjusts to changes in the ground. Your heart delivers oxygen. Your muscles repeatedly contract and relax. Walking is movement, balance training, cardiovascular activity, and nervous system practice happening at the same time. In many Japanese neighborhoods, daily life traditionally encourages walking. People may walk to train stations, markets, schools, parks, temples, community centers, or nearby shops. The important detail is that the walk has a purpose. When movement is connected to a destination, it feels less like a burden and more like part of life. This psychological difference matters. A person may resist the idea of walking on a treadmill for 30 minutes because it feels repetitive, but the same person may happily walk to buy fruit, visit a friend, see a garden, or complete a small errand. Purpose gives movement meaning, and meaning makes consistency easier. You do not need to live in a Japanese city to apply this habit. You can create small walking destinations inside your current environment. Walk to a nearby shop instead of driving when distance and safety allow. Take a short route after lunch. Visit a local park. Walk to speak with a neighbor rather than sending a message. Carry one small item from one room to another instead of collecting everything at once. Even indoor walking can become purposeful. Walk while listening to an audiobook. Walk through your home while mentally planning your day. Place frequently used items in different safe locations so that ordinary tasks require a few extra steps. But walking should not remain at exactly the same speed and distance forever. The body adapts when it receives a slightly stronger challenge. One useful strategy is to include brief periods of faster walking. For example, walk at a comfortable pace for several minutes, then increase your speed for 30 seconds before returning to normal. You do not need to run. Simply walk as though you are slightly late for an appointment, while still remaining safe and in control. These brief increases in pace encourage the heart and lungs to work harder. They also teach the legs to produce more force and the nervous system to coordinate movement more quickly. Another strategy is to walk on varied but safe surfaces. Perfectly flat floors are convenient, but the outside world is not always perfectly flat. Grass, gentle slopes, pathways, and small changes in terrain require the ankles and hips to make constant adjustments. This can help train balance, but safety must always come first. Use supportive footwear, choose well-maintained paths, avoid slippery areas, and use assistance when necessary. Posture also matters. Many people walk while looking down, rounding their shoulders, and taking short, hesitant steps. Over time, this can reinforce a closed and unstable pattern. Instead, imagine the top of your head gently rising. Keep your gaze forward enough to see where you are going. Allow your arms to swing naturally. Let your steps feel comfortable rather than forced. Do not try to copy a military march. Walk with relaxed attention. One particularly useful Japanese idea is to treat walking as a form of daily maintenance rather than punishment for eating. When walking is connected only to weight loss, people often stop once the scale disappoints them. But when walking is understood as protection for mobility, circulation, mood, balance, and independence, its value becomes much greater. The goal is not to complete a perfect number of steps. The goal is to create a life in which walking remains normal. A person who walks frequently continues practicing the skill of carrying their own body through the world. That may be one of the strongest definitions of physical youth. Habit 4. They eat until satisfied, not until heavy. Physical activity is only one part of remaining energetic with age. The body also needs nourishment without constant overload. A traditional idea often associated with Okinawan culture is hara hachi bu, commonly understood as eating until you are about 80% full. The purpose is not starvation. It is awareness. There is a delay between the moment your stomach receives enough food and the moment your brain fully recognizes satisfaction. When you eat rapidly, you can pass the point of comfort before your body has time to respond. By the time you feel full, you may already feel heavy. That heaviness affects more than digestion. It can influence your energy, sleep, willingness to move, and comfort in your joints. When every meal ends with the desire to lie down, daily activity becomes harder. Many traditional Japanese meals also include smaller portions of several foods rather than one enormous serving. A meal may contain vegetables, soup, rice, fish, soy-based foods, pickled items, or other modest dishes. This variety can slow the pace of eating and make the meal feel complete without requiring excessive volume. The lesson is not that every person must copy a specific Japanese menu. The stronger principle is to eat in a way that supports movement after the meal instead of making movement feel impossible. Begin by slowing down. Put your utensil down occasionally. Chew fully. Notice the taste and texture. Pause before taking a second serving. Ask whether you are still physically hungry or simply continuing because food remains available. Use slightly smaller bowls and plates when appropriate. Serve a reasonable amount first and allow yourself to return for more only after waiting several minutes. This small pause can reveal a surprising truth. You may already be satisfied. Another useful habit is to build meals around foods that provide nourishment and volume without excessive heaviness. Vegetables, beans, fruits, soups, whole grains, fish, eggs, tofu, and other minimally processed foods can form part of a balanced pattern, depending on your needs and culture. Protein becomes especially important with age because the body needs amino acids to maintain and repair muscle. But protein should be combined with movement. Food provides the building material, while physical activity gives the body a reason to use that material. Imagine sending construction materials to a building site where no one is working. The supplies may arrive, but nothing meaningful is built. Similarly, eating nutritious food while remaining inactive may not fully protect physical function. Movement and nourishment support each other. Hydration also deserves attention. Some older adults drink less because their sense of thirst becomes weaker or because they want to avoid frequent bathroom visits. But insufficient fluid can contribute to fatigue, dizziness, constipation, and reduced physical performance. You do not need to force extreme amounts of water. You need a consistent pattern that fits your health needs. Certain medical conditions require specific fluid guidance, so professional advice may be necessary. The deeper problem in many modern diets is not one particular food. It is the loss of boundaries. Food is available all day. Snacks are eaten without hunger. Portions are designed for entertainment rather than nourishment. Sugary drinks deliver energy without satisfaction. Meals happen in front of screens, where attention disappears and eating becomes automatic. The Japanese-inspired lesson is to bring structure back. Eat at reasonably consistent times. Sit down. Notice the meal. Respect the first feeling of satisfaction. Finish feeling capable of moving, not defeated by fullness. This does not mean you can never enjoy dessert or a special feast. Longevity is not built through constant fear. It is built through a normal pattern that your body can sustain. A person who regularly stops before discomfort protects more than their waistline. They protect their energy for the hours that follow. And energy is what allows walking, cleaning, gardening, socializing, and participating in life to continue. Habit 5. They protect a reason to wake up and participate. The final habit is not a physical exercise, yet it can influence every physical action. Many older Japanese adults maintain responsibilities, routines, hobbies, community roles, and relationships that give structure to their day. In Okinawan culture, the idea of ikigai is often described as a reason for living or a reason to get up in the morning. The popular version of this idea is sometimes made too complicated. It is presented as though every person must discover one grand mission that changes the world. But purpose does not need to be grand. It may be preparing breakfast for a spouse, caring for flowers, walking a dog, helping a grandchild, meeting friends, practicing calligraphy, visiting a local market, cleaning a shared space, teaching a skill, tending a vegetable garden. These activities create a reason to stand up, get dressed, leave the house, use the hands, make decisions, and interact with other people. Purpose organizes movement. Without a reason to participate, the easiest choice is often to remain seated. One quiet day becomes several quiet days. Several days become a routine. The body receives fewer challenges. The mind receives less stimulation. Social contact decreases. Confidence shrinks. Tasks that once felt normal begin to feel exhausting. This is why retirement can be physically difficult for some people. Work may have been stressful, but it also required waking at a certain time, dressing, traveling, communicating, solving problems, walking through buildings, and following a schedule. When that structure suddenly disappears, physical activity can collapse with it. The answer is not to remain overworked forever. The answer is to replace lost structure with meaningful participation. Create small responsibilities that require your presence. Join a walking group. Help care for a shared garden. Prepare one meal each day. Volunteer for a manageable task. Visit someone regularly. Learn a craft that uses your hands. Attend a weekly class. Take responsibility for buying certain household items. The activity should be realistic enough to continue, but meaningful enough that you would notice its absence. Social connection is especially powerful because it encourages behavior that isolation does not. When someone expects to meet you, you are more likely to get ready and leave the house. When you participate in a group, you walk, speak, listen, react, remember, and adapt. Your body and brain become active together. In parts of Okinawa, social groups known as moai have traditionally offered companionship and mutual support. The deeper lesson is not the name of the group. It is the protection created by belonging. People remain more engaged when they know they matter to someone. A strong social routine does not require a large circle of friends. One or two reliable relationships can be deeply valuable. The key is regular contact, rather than occasional promises. Call someone at the same time each week. Walk with a neighbor every morning. Share tea with a relative. Attend a community gathering. Help another person with a simple task. Purpose also changes how the body interprets effort. Walking around the block for exercise may feel tiring. Walking the same distance to see someone you love may feel worthwhile. The body is performing similar work, but the mind gives that work a different meaning. This is important because healthy aging cannot be separated into isolated parts. Physical strength influences confidence. Confidence influences participation. Participation influences mood. Mood influences sleep. Sleep influences energy. Energy influences movement. Everything is connected. The strongest habit may therefore be creating a life that continues asking something from you. Not constant pressure, not exhausting responsibility, simply a reason to contribute. There is a harmful belief that growing older means gradually withdrawing from the world. People stop learning, stop trying, stop traveling, stop volunteering, and stop beginning new things because they believe those activities belong to younger people. But the body does not respond to the number written on a birthday card. It responds to demand. When life continues asking you to walk, reach, remember, communicate, prepare, solve, and care, the body receives a reason to maintain capacity. Purpose cannot guarantee perfect health. Nothing can. But a meaningful daily structure can prevent the body from becoming inactive simply because the calendar has moved forward. You do not need to discover the purpose of your entire life today. Choose one reason to move tomorrow morning. That is enough to begin. Wadi and conclusion. Growing older is unavoidable, but becoming unnecessarily inactive is not. The Japanese habits we explored today are not extreme. They are powerful because they are ordinary. Move throughout the day, practice rising and lowering, walk with purpose, stop eating before heaviness, and protect a reason to participate in life. You do not need to begin all 5 habits perfectly. Choose one. Stand up more often. Walk to one small destination. Practice rising from a chair. Finish one meal feeling light. Call someone and create a weekly routine together. A younger feeling body is not built by one heroic workout. It is built through thousands of small signals that say, I still use my strength. I still trust my balance. I still participate in my own life. Your age may continue increasing, but your habits decide how much ability you carry into those years. Start today, not because you are afraid of getting older, but because your future self deserves a body that can still take you where you want to go.